Good morning, wrestling fans, and welcome to PWR Today. It's Monday. It's September 12th. It's 2022. The man they call Meathead, the lovely Linda Kay, who's resting up after a big wrestling weekend. Linda, we are 6 days removed from the beginning of the NFL season.
That is correct. For anybody who watched the Packer game yesterday, it was an additional preseason game.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody else knew that, but the Packers were issued another preseason game where, they didn't really have to go all in,
Right, because of London, because they're going to being forced to go to London this year. So
yeah. So looking forward to NFL kickoff next weekend.
Yeah, what we really needed was 1 week with QB1 to work with the new receivers. I would hate to see a drop on the first play of the effing offense. I'm sorry. I would hate to see a drop on the first play of the offense for a wide open touchdown when the season starts. Linda Kay, when the season starts, even though it's football, we're wearing our wrestling gear. What are we wearing?
We will be wearing collar and elbow. As always, go to collarandelbowbrand.com. Check out the latest and greatest in wrestling street fashions, and to save a little cash, to save 10% off your order, use promo code Linda K. That's LINDAKAY.
Linda, you know that for the most part, I'm a pretty, personable person. I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. You know what sound drives me nuts more than anything else? And you know that I'm also an antagonist. Sometimes I just do the sound to irritate other people. You know where that comes from, right? It's U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Oh, the skull.
Yeah, I've had enough. All right, Linda, let's talk. We didn't really have any big news to come up over the weekend after the bonkers week that we had, but you've got GLCW news.
That is correct. So this past weekend, GLCW came back to Central Wisconsin, to Merrill, Wisconsin, for Rockin, and it was called Rockin because we had for the first time in 25 years, we had Leaf Cassidy.
Nice.
Formerly of the Rockers, the new Rockers.
The newest Rockers.
Well, formerly of the new Rockers, but now, Meathead, we had the debut of the newest Rockers, which is Leaf Cassidy and our very own Fanny Pack Kid Cal Hero.
So there was a message in our group chat that we have amongst the PWR Today folks here. Was there any barbershop windows anywhere nearby while this was going on?
No, there was not. But I will say, very happy, very excited to have been able to have announced the newest Rockers. The debut of the newest Rockers, and just hearing the Rockers theme song just brought back some great memories as well. So great to see our friend Cal doing his thing there with Leaf Cassidy, aka
Uncle Leaf.
What a great tag team. And I know I'm sure it'll get loaded up to YouTube and posted on the GLCW socials soon. But we had they're just totally playing off the Rockers. You got to see it. It brought me back to when in the 90s was the new Rockers. But
well, it's probably a week after, Shawn Michaels put Marty through the glass and said, you know who I need? I need Leaf Cassidy. And that's who he teamed up with. They are taking bookings. It's newestrockers@gmail.com. So if you want to book the newest Rockers, the Fanny Pack Kid and Leaf Cassidy, Uncle Leaf, head on over to newestrockers@gmail.com. I'm calling him that the second I see him, right? The next show that he's at. Hey, Uncle Leaf. What's up, buddy?
No, it was some good stuff, though, and just some great interaction between Cal and Elle, and and just another fun show with our friends up in Merrill. Looking forward to our next GLCW show. Early plug to plan ahead for October, Meathead. We're going to return back to Circle B in Cedarburg, where we are going to have Dance Party 2, meaning it's the second time we're going to have an event called Dance Party with none other than Scotty 2 Hottie. And that will take place Saturday night, October 15th, Cedarburg, Wisconsin. blizzardbrawl.com for more details. And I must also throw in, besides collar and elbow shirts we saw along ringside this past weekend, we saw some prowrestlinginsurance.com
Oh yeah, there you go.
Attire sported as well. So, if you would like to look into some additional supplemental coverage, ProWrestlingInsurance.com. It is not just for pro wrestlers; it is for anybody. And I hear they are recruiting, perhaps for some ambassadors to help out with that as well. So, ProWrestlingInsurance.com if you're interested in that as well.
Yeah, maybe the journey of the man they call Meathead in the world of Taekwondo might have to look into that. Especially just like with sparring coming up.
Oh yeah, just my journey in Muay Thai and pro wrestling, because you never know when Linda Kay might make her return back to the ring.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mentioned the sparring. We got the gear and I put it on the kids, and the second I walked up and like, Dad, can you put it on? Sure, I can put it on. Because it's the dad they call me Dad. And then once the girls had all the gear on, the first thing it is popped them right in the chest with the gear on. She goes, "Ow!" I'm like, "Did you feel it or did it feel less?" I don't know. Ow! See, that's what happens when you have the gear on. So I love the gear because then I can just smack them in the belly.
There you go.
All right, let's talk about both of the big shows from Friday night, Smackdown and Rampage. First off, Smackdown. Linda, we're going to talk about the end and then work our way through this match. Do you like your Smackdown in full-on 1080p color, or would you rather have it in a black and white filter?
I would prefer the color, but if it works for a specific segment, I'm okay with that because it was almost like a horror flick. But I get where you're coming from. Are you saying you did not like that? Or okay.
You know what they did though? They made it better. I'm okay with the entrance looking like that.
Yeah.
But not to get too TV, right? But instead of just a regular, camera change and then they go back, maybe a slow wipe where the color comes up, a la Undertaker, maybe raising the lights. Maybe we could work in the color in there. The thing I liked at the end of the show was when Karrion Kross put out Drew McIntyre into, basically knocked him out. The lights went out, and Cole and not McAfee. We'll get to that in a second. Cole and Graves were talking about, somebody stop it. So it's like his lights were turned up. That part I absolutely love.
Yeah. It was interesting because I did see the colors change and like, holy crap, there he is. There's Karrion Kross with Scarlett, and I get it just because that is the entrance, but it's different. I don't think that they would do that every time Karrion Kross is putting on his submission. I think maybe just because it was the attack, but for those who caught Karrion Kross's debut the week prior and those who know of him from NXT, that you are familiar with everything changing to black and white and why that would make sense. But I guess in them using that to go off the air, and then like you said, it went black, and you could still hear Cole and Graves saying he needs help. We need help. Someone get down here. That did bring something a little extra, a little bit help worked with that whole artistic effect and drama, I guess.
Yeah.
Dramatics.
The dramatics of it and, the seriousness of it as well. So let's go through the show. The show opens up with 6-man tag action, as it's called in AEW Trios. But you know what? We've got full-on return of Imperium. And boy, oh boy, I didn't think I was going to miss Imperium. I missed Imperium. And the Brawling Brutes, for some reason, look better too. Butch even looks more Pete Dunne-ish.
Mm-hmm. He was definitely more bruiserweight. Isn't it funny? Ever since the match with Sheamus and Gunther, which there wasn't even a story really built coming down to it. We knew that the winner of how Sheamus got in the tournament, was it a tournament or is it just between him and McIntyre? I can't fully, not McIntyre. I can't fully remember how he was inserted into that match against Gunther for the Intercontinental title.
He won
the Castle.
He won not a tournament, but basically a
elimination
series of matches. Yeah.
Okay. But other than that, there wasn't even like much of a backstory. There wasn't even a backstory. Let me fix that statement between Sheamus and Gunther. Oh yeah. So obviously, watching Clash at the Castle, seeing how much appreciation. I mean, the match itself was tremendous, but seeing how much appreciation the fans were giving Sheamus has carried over across the pond.
Literally.
now the fans here in the States have embraced Sheamus once again. And honestly, it's just a trickling effect from that. I mean, obviously, lots of fans still support and cheer for Sheamus, but the majority being that. And now we're in this program now where the Brawling Brutes are all of a sudden faces. It's just interesting, and it's amazing how that can just happen. And I think it's great. I love the Brawling Brutes. I love that Pete Dunne or Butch is back as Pete Dunne style and Bruiserweight style, and that look. That was awesome. Getting to see Ridge Holland get a little bit more action, and every time Sheamus and Gunther came face to face, and the crowd losing their minds for that, it got me losing my mind on my couch as well. Absolutely loved it. And Imperium, I loved Imperium when they were as a trio in NXT,
and they got the old Imperium music.
Yes, it got that intro, and then it went into Gunther's new current music, but it flowed perfectly and together. We didn't get and I don't think we will get Giovanni Vinci's numerous smile camera poses like we got
at
NXT 2.0, but that's all right. So he's a more.
I know Matthew's disappointed.
He's a little more edgier, Giovanni Vinci, but hey, that worked great. That match was tremendous. It went long, but I enjoyed every second of it.
The only beef I have, and this is so minor, but I'm going to talk about it. WWE obviously has clothing deals with people because they have their own merchandise. They have their own WWE shop, right? Mm-hmm. The gear that Imperium wears is not WWE issued. And here's why this bugs me, because I look for other little things. They wore how when somebody's on TV and the logo or the insignia isn't what the TV wants, so that you have to cover it. Like, reality shows cover up their hats, or they can't sponsor this or that, or
it's blurred.
Whatever. Or blurred, or what it is they put a piece of electrical tape on it. So Imperium wore the black tracksuits. They all had black tape over probably the Under Armour or Nike logo.
I did not catch that, Meathead. I was just noticing that Gunther was not wearing his long red coat, but as Imperium, he didn't wear that, so they came together. But no, I guess I'd have to go back and check that out.
What I'm saying is WWE Shop, let's get the tracksuits going. Like before we left for WrestleMania, I was looking for the Roman Reigns tracksuit. I would have wore that. I mean, because it was baller. So WWE, you have a dealer, somebody make these tracksuits so that way these guys can have the Imperium logo on their jackets. We don't have to see black electrical tape. All right. Let's move on to Raquel Rodriguez and the returning ? Toxic Attraction.
Interesting. I mean, I guess it was mentioned that would have been a semifinals match in the tag team tournament. Or it could have, I think that's what it was. It would have been. So they got their chance to finally face one another. I just wonder, because Toxic Attraction was back at NXT, so they're being utilized, both brands. I mean, that's great. I just wonder if they're just going to be a mainstay now in SmackDown. Is that what?
I think they're on the main roster. I think they're going to work probably some tag matches. Maybe they'll work some individual matches. Here's the thing. When we say main roster, it used to mean main roster Raw or main roster SmackDown. While the brands are split, it doesn't matter anymore. People just show up wherever they want. So I think they can go back and forth. We might see them on Raw. We might see them on SmackDown again. We might still see them on NXT. I think they're going to travel from brand to brand.
That's a tremendous opportunity for them.
Well, Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah defeat Toxic Attraction. The next match I want to talk about is the Street Profits and Hit Row defeating the Los Lotharios and Maximum Male Models in an 8-man tag match. You know what? I never thought that there was 8 talents that need to be in the ring together. This was a perfect fit.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I know we didn't talk about it the week prior due to all the other wrestling news that occurred, or shows from the past weekend, but the week prior, excuse me. But the tagging in from Maximum Male Models, I definitely caught wind of that this time. Did you?
Oh yeah. Oh, they're tagging.
But no, great match. Even the interaction between Maxine Dupree and B-Fab.
It still pops me a little bit. Dupree.
That was great too. And I mean, this was another way to show. I'm going to go back to Maximum Male Models just because they're the tag team, that we've seen the least of as far as in-ring competition and just as a whole. And I'm glad, even though they lost, we still got a good showing out of them and showing more of their character and personalities and their wrestling abilities. Just as we haven't seen Mansoor.
Mansoor.
Thank you. I was thinking because I think even Michael Cole said, Mansoor, and he's excuse me.
You know how I used to say it, Mansoors.
Yeah, so we haven't seen him in ring in a while, and definitely have not seen Mace Madden in a while. But I am surprised that he could have been a color commentator to Michael Cole's play-by-play, as I spoke of last week. But I digress. Great to see them get more action in the ring, and there's still some good stuff happening between Maximum Models and Los Lotharios with Pit Row and Street Profits as well, who are still on both shows too.
Yeah, you brought it up, and I forgot to bring it up at the top of the program here. Pat McAfee, again, having left her ESPN college football, you called it, Linda, 100%. They perfectly played it off. Michael Cole says, look, our good friend, my partner, Pat McAfee, has accepted a position with College Football Game Day with ESPN and won't be back until after the college football season. So the thing that we heard is, A, they announced it, not just gone, right? B, they said, Pat's going to do part-time. So when it's college football season, he's going to leave. Pat will be back at the end of the year. Great. And then you called it again, filling in for him, his old partner, Corey Graves.
Yeah, great partnership between the two of them as well. And although Corey Graves and Pat McAfee different styles, and I love Pat McAfee as well, but he still had such great commentary. I mean, just the broadcast team as a whole with Corey Graves there, that it was still just. I mean, we used to have Cole and Graves, so the chemistry is there, and it was still.
Cole and Graves still call matches on big cross-brand matches.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the main events should be
right.
They should be the number one team. But you know what? Graves is different than McAfee, but both are excellent. McAfee's just a nut job, and we love him for being a nut job, but he can still do the job.
Right. Absolutely. No, it was great having Corey Graves stepping in, and he'll be a busy man the next couple of months being on both shows. I mean, I assume.
Go get paid, brother. Go get paid. All right. We also kind of skipped over it, but I do want to talk about the Ronda Rousey destroying the entire field to win a SmackDown Women's title match against Liv Morgan at the WWE Extreme Rules. Has WWE finally found the right Ronda Rousey?
I do believe so. I feel the fans are enjoying this Ronda Rousey bit more than the previous Rousey as well. She is a badass, so we're just seeing more of that badassery. And I think it was Cole that was saying there's some. She's been disciplined. Everything's been internal. We don't know all the details, but I know we didn't talk about it the week prior. Again, last week it had a lot of other stuff going on, but Adam Pearce calling her a bitch. Oh my goodness.
Adam Pearce went into Scrap Daddy. Adam Pearce, that we know from our area, we know from the NWA. He started cutting a promo on her, and we don't get a lot of that. The only time we ever saw Adam Pearce kind of cut promos was when he was going to almost take on Roman Reigns in a match.
Yes, or we thought he might have been at the Rumble or something. I remember that. Yeah, so that was great. We didn't see Adam Pearce on SmackDown this past weekend, but we got to see Ronda Rousey become the number one contender again. And so now she'll be facing Liv Morgan at Extreme Rules for the title again. I feel this is time for Ronda to one-up Liv again.
I'm going to counter you. Actually, I'm going to counter you on that. Adam Pearce is going to cause Ronda the match.
Oh, I didn't think that. I was just thinking if we're going to get Liv and Ronda, it's like every time Liv won, it seems like there was something, at least from the finishes that we've had in their matches with them, something a little funky. Not saying there was cheating or anything, but it was just unique ways she got through.
What's that word that you use and Dave used? Kabuki. I miss the Kabuki Warriors. Yeah. They won me a draft.
Oh yeah. but just Ronda, being badass that she is. I mean, just submission after submission, just showing everything that she's gotta win that title back over Liv.
Or she doesn't.
Or she doesn't.
Again, I think we're getting the best Ronda Rousey right now. Yeah. She's always been an in-ring performer that we've always gotten great stuff out of her. But character-wise, she's a badass. She's teetering on the line between face and heel. She's whispering in the ear of Shayna Baszler to be a heel. I think, honestly, that Ronda does not get the Women's Championship and teams up with Shayna, and maybe they go after the Women's Tag Championships.
That would be awesome, too.
Let's talk about our friend, Adam. They go by Braun Strowman, or he goes by Braun Strowman in the WWE. The Alpha Academy from Raw apparently was on SmackDown, and they had a 2-on-1 match. Braun destroys the Alpha Academy. I don't even know what else to say about it other than he destroyed them.
Yeah, and I guess it hasn't been announced, but either he'll stay on SmackDown or be back at Raw and just destroy more of the roster, making his huge return back to WWE.
So during an earlier altercation where Solo Sikoa was announced as the newest member of the Usos, again, Linda, the accounting firm at Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, was listening to the verbiage of how that worked out. Luckily for the man they referred to as Matthew Thomas, Solo is an Uso. The Usos do get appearance points at the previous pay-per-view.
Okay.
Trust me, they were listening. They were looking to take those points away, but unfortunately, everything was legitimate. It set up a match, and it instantly put Solo into the main event picture against Drew McIntyre. The match ends up in a no contest with a sudden attack by Karrion Kross. Before we get into what happened at the end here, Sami Zayn dropping the hip-hop lingo that he tries to do, because we the ones. What? Sami Zayn is just killing me right now.
Absolutely. I mean, just the stuff between him and Jay and Jimmy as well, and now inserting Solo in there, who seems to be more accepting of the honorary Us than Jay Uso. But when it comes down to the matches, with the exception of the KO moment, Sami's in there protecting everyone in the bloodline, so he's deservingly within the bloodline right now as an honorary Us. Excuse me.
Here's what I want to see down the road. Not officially released by WWE right away, but possibly after. I want Sami to come out with a shirt where he superimposes his face on top of a bloodline shirt, where it's like not approved merchandise, and he put himself on a shirt. And then, down the road, maybe we could start selling that shirt. Kind of like the no from Daniel Bryan, where, he had yeses and then crossed out with no's, and you could buy the no t-shirt.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I think that's where we need to go with that. All right, so the finish of the match saw Karrion Kross attack Drew McIntyre instantly, not even a fade. I mean, just instantly, we're in black and white. I don't like that. Karrion Kross puts the cross jacket on Drew McIntyre with Scarlett just laughing while she watches. I did like the lights going out and then them still talking, as in the lights are out on Drew McIntyre. I honestly think that this is okay for a couple times, but it can't be like this all the time. Because if he goes to catering, everything needs to go in black and white at catering. If he goes to his rental car, it needs to be black and white outside.
If he goes to the restroom,
that's right.
It's got to be in black and white.
Absolutely loving it. WWE.com also updating the pictures too. We got a new looking Braun Strowman. That's how he looks. Karrion Kross with actual hair. Solo looking like he's supposed to look. Scarlett, Karrion. I mean, everybody looks the way they're supposed to look now. I'm just very happy with the things that are being updated as we speak over in WWE. Let's make our way to AEW. And again, a hectic, 7+ days in AEW. First off, we had an opening match that was going to be the semifinal. Well, technically it was a wild card round, but it's going to be the Grand Slam Tournament of Champions. Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin. These guys have torn it down every time they've competed, and Friday night was no exception.
Right. Anytime you put the two of them together, you're going to expect a great match, and we got one. In the end, can I jump ahead at the finish, or
go for it?
Advances. Sammy Guevara does advance, and there's a chance, and Jericho even said it on commentary, like he's like, "I'll see you in the finals," so that could happen, but I don't know if it will. But
I like how they talk about it, like he's just gonna blow past Daniels, and Sammy will blow past whoever he takes on.
Right. It's gonna be Mox, I think.
Probably.
Sammy and Mox, and then it's Jericho and Daniel Bryan. So for the semifinals,
so gonna blow right past Mox, and Chris will blow right past Daniels, and I'll see you in the finals, kid.
But no, great way to start off Rampage Hot.
Yeah, an amazing match. A lot of promos on Rampage on Friday night. We had the ROH TV champion Samoa Joe returning to the ring. You know, when Joe showed up at the pay-per-view at All Out, first thing I asked is, hey, where's Joe been? Why has he got stitches in his head? If he's been gone all this time, what the hell did he do to get stitches? No explanation of it. And Joe is literally still got the stitches over the eye. And his next challenger comes out. Mark Sterling, smart Mark Sterling, comes out with Tony Nese, and Josh Woods, a former ROH Pure champion, next week on Rampage for the Ring of Honor TV Championship. Samoa Joe, Josh Woods.
Yeah, I mean, that should be a good one. More ROH representation on Rampage. I know when you and Matthew talk about AEW Thursday mornings, and there's kind of that back and forth conversation about, ROH on AEW programming, but I feel that
it takes a fine line to me. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what? It wasn't bad on Friday night, but consistently over and over, I don't want Ring of Honor taking up time that AEW should have.
I was just gonna say that it seems that there is more ROH representation or matches, I feel, on Rampage, which is fine, but if we steer it that way, cool. But having ROH legends, and he was part of AEW before the ROH transition, Samoa mm-hmm. Joe on no matter which show would be great for, not just AEW fans, but any wrestling fan.
I know Tony Khan listens. Tony, I have an idea. I literally just came up with this while you were talking. What triggered it for me is you said ROH on Rampage. You know what? TNT, on Friday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. Give me a 1 hour Ring of Honor every week. They could tape them at the same time and everybody could travel together. How's that sound? 1 hour show, Friday nights, 10 Eastern, 9 Central.
That's Rampage already.
Wait, 11 Eastern, 10 Central. Okay. Sorry, I got my time zones. You see what I'm saying, though? I mean, literally, it could roll one into another.
Mm-hmm. And just
keep them separate. That's all I'm asking. Keep them separate.
So you're saying for the Dynamite tapings, not just 5 hours of wrestling, you gotta, you're given the opportunity to see, but would it be 6 hours?
Well, I mean, so what we know is that Dark and Elevation are usually taped before Dynamite, unless they're doing a Dynamite Rampage double. And then they use the matches from down in Orlando, right? Or in Jacksonville, where they do them from the studio. You could get rid of the studio the entire time and just maybe do Dynamite and Rampage together. And then you could do ROH and the Dark and Elevation matches. You could split those up and make Rampage a live traveling show. Think about the WCW model. They used to do the Monday Nitros and Thunders together. Or if they did Thunder live, they would have all the, not pre-show dark matches, but any of their extra shows would be taped before that. WWE did the same thing. Anytime you went to a Raw, you got heat, Sunday Night Heat, before you would get Raw. So,
or main event, or
205 Live. Shotgun Saturday Night, or 205 Live, back in 205 Live's days where they had to change the ring ropes to purple.
Mm-hmm.
What a hard business that was. It was a time where, they tried something different, but what a bunch of work they made for themselves just to do one match. Do you remember that? Specifically,
the ropes were covered in purple tape as well.
Yeah.
I've seen it live in front of me happen. The transition.
Yeah, that's what I want to say. I'm talking about, it was No Way Out, I think, where Goldberg beat Kevin Owens due to Jericho interference. We saw that on the pay-per-view where they had to stop, do a bunch of backstage stuff, and they had the ring crew, probably 20 people, drop the ropes, put up the purple ones, and then afterwards more backstage stuff, drop the ropes, put up the normal ones.
I think it Fastlane, because I think it was right before.
Fastlane, you're right. It was Fastlane, but it was the Goldberg victory over Kevin Owens.
And sorry, I have the folding chair from that pay-per-view in the other room there. There's Goldberg right there. Fastlane. That's why in my head I'm like, I see that chair pretty much every day. I digress.
Let's talk Madison, Rayne, and Serena Deeb. My daughter happened to be coming in the room while we were watching, and she goes, "Who's the one with the tiara on her head? Wow, who's that?" Well, that would be Madison Rayne, honey, but she's going to lose to Serena Deeb, unfortunately. Serena Deeb with the victory.
Yeah, and I do like how they did mention Madison Rayne being one of the coaches there, yes. And so that I like that was mentioned. and Serena Deeb did defeat her. It's still just yeah, I love getting the feedback, the background, I should say, for those who may not know.
Yeah, and it's funny too because Serena Deeb was a coach at WWE Developmental, and then she's now out working again. Obviously, she's coaching in the background. She's not called a coach. Serena Deeb is an actual competitor, but she's coaching as well.
Absolutely.
Strong promo by by Powerhouse Hobbs, kind of running down Absolute Ricky Starks, and he said he put his ass 6 feet deep. Now let's talk main event. Again, Ring of Honor World Title match. It was an amazing match. It was the Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli taking on FTR's Dax Hartwood. Uncle Dax getting a title shot.
Yeah, a match, some fan favorites there. We knew we would get a hard-hitting match between the two of them. Some great stuff between the two of them. I mean, you just can't go wrong. And we got to see the spin. I can't think of what they call it at AEW. It's obviously not the Cesaro swing, but always fun
giant swing.
Oh, okay. Always fun seeing that in the matches as well. But we had Claudio with the win, but we saw the handshake obviously at the very end, even with Sir William Regal going in there and shaking Dax's hand there as well.
Definitely an ROH match. Code of Honor at the end, Code of Honor at the beginning as well, even Code of Honor with William Regal. So you know what? Code of Honor all around. It was a great way to close out the night with a banger of a match. So Linda, tonight on Raw, I don't even know what's coming up, but I'm excited for it. How long has it been? How many years have we been doing this where we said we're excited to see what happens on Raw?
I'm always excited.
I'm excited too. For Linda Kay, for
I'm
Matthew
so
Thomas.
excited.
Yep, thank you, sister. All right, we're going to point our ways to tomorrow. See what I did there, Pointer Sisters? For Matthew Thomas, for Linda Kay, I'm the man they call Meathead. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. So long, everyone.